Hello again, it's OhioRAAM Show coming to you from Southwest Ohio, where we have the time stations at Oxford and Blanchester for the Race Across America. This show goes beyond just the Race Across America because we talk about ultra cycling and all things cycling, but our sponsors are those time stations involved in the Race Across America at Blanchester and Oxford. And we invite fans from around the Midwest to come and join us during the race, which will start on the 16th of June. And probably the next show, I should put the dates up that we expect them to be through Ohio, which will be starting about almost a week later. But we'll put those dates up when we let's do it the next show. We invite fans from around the Midwest to come because we have the time stations open there 24 hours a day. There'll be people there who can tell you about the race, what's going on, help you to understand the race. For racers, crews, officials, media, we're there 24 hours for you as well. We have 24-hour food, 24-hour fuel, and more important than any of that is 24-hour fans. So regardless of what time of day or night, 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the morning, you come through there. We're going to be there to give you that little boost to go on your way. And we have a guest who is a RAM veteran with us tonight, and we're very glad to have that person with us here. Before we do that, I should tell you that my name is Lee Kreider. I host this show. This is about the 76th show we've done. I want to say about because once in a while we change the numbering around as we reorganize these recordings. We're recording this, according to his, on the 19th of January, and I'm expecting this show to air about the 27th of February or somewhere thereabouts. So I'm glad to introduce Kathy Roche-Wallace from Marshall, Michigan. Is that correct, Kathy? Oops, I got to turn your mic on. I always forget to do that for some reason.
Hi, Lee. Hi, Lee. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, you're up there in Marshall, Michigan.
Yes.
And have you got the warmer weather up there that we've gotten the last few days?
Yes, actually, it was close to 40 on Saturday, and then started to get a little colder again. But anything's better than that negative digit stuff going on. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, was it Friday morning? I got up and the house was cold. I mean, really cold. And so I got up and checked the thermostat and the furnace and everything and switched it on and off, and nothing happened. So right away I get on the horn and call my service people. I do have a service contract. They come twice a year and check everything out, but you know, things can happen. And the guy said, I'll be there shortly after 10 o'clock. I said, that sounds good. So I had to run a little errand, and I came home at 10 o'clock, and the daggone furnace was running. You know?
Yeah.
And here come the guy up the sidewalk, and well, I told him that. And he says, well, that happened to me twice yesterday, and I'm telling you, he checked that furnace over from stem to stern, couldn't find anything wrong with it. Everything seemed to be working perfectly. All the values were correct, and well, it's been working since then. So who knows? You know, weird.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. And it's working too well right now.
Yeah.
I'm back here. I usually like to wear a sweater in the wintertime, and as Kathy knows, I had to take it off before the broadcast starts because it's 74 back here, and I generally have around 70. You know,
Yeah.
It's really warmed up. Well, enough of that kind of talk. Kathy, we're so happy to have you with us here.
Thanks, Lee.
Introduce yourself to us a little bit. Tell us about yourself, who you are. I said, what's life like outside of cycling for you?
Let me see. I'm a mom. First of all, I have 6 children. And I also have 5 grandchildren right now, so that's a big part of my life. I have a full-time job. I am an assistant aquatics manager at a fitness center that's owned by the hospital in town. And I also do some personal training, but I call it more life coaching than personal training. Yeah, so that pretty much keeps my day full with training and running around with grandkids and kids and, you know, that kind of stuff. Pretty normal, I think.
Well, I want to thank Kathy for sending me a video for our holiday special. That was so nice, and I want to thank everybody that I did on the special, but I didn't know if that would work or not.
It was very cool. I liked it.
Oh, yeah, it was so great. And
Yes.
by the way, I just have to say that just while you were talking, Kathy, I got a ping here from Valerio Zamboni. I've been trying to get him on the show. He's a busy, busy man, as you can imagine, with his business and all the cycling he does. And we're hoping to get him on. I don't want to commit him here, but if at all possible, we'll try to get Valerio on. He's racing in I think a 60 to 69 age category, and yeah, great. Well, Kathy, I've been digressing all over the place, but I told you this was just a family chat.
Yeah.
Kathy, how long you been in cycling? How did you get into it? Who suckered you into this?
I originally, gosh, it's been a long time now, but I first started with a friend that asked me to do a small triathlon. And prior to that, I've ridden a bike as a kid, but I never really rode one, I guess, and competitively anyway. So that was probably over 20 years ago on a small triathlon. I pretty quickly jumped from the short stuff to the Ironman distance and did that for a little while, and then jumped from Ironman to the ultra distance in triathlons. And it was funny because in that community I'm not known as a strong cyclist. I'm more of a runner, and that kind of led me into RAAM. Was trying to strengthen that weakness was the cycling component, and then I had a friend that told me about RAAM, and learning about the race itself and what a great community family event it is. Really, I jumped on it, and it's turned into that. It's a very great venue. It's a really great event. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, well, have you been in any other cycling events besides RAAM where you had to qualify?
Yeah, the triple Ironman that I do pretty regularly, that's taking the Ironman distance times 3. So it's 7.2 miles of swimming, 336 miles of biking, and then 78.6 miles of running consecutive. It's nonstop. Doing that, and then also the 12 24-hour races, 10-day multi-distance adventure races. So in my wheelhouse, I've done the distances and then also the cycling. But you know, to put all cycling in for 12 days, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, that's a different race all on its own. So it's, yeah.
Kathy, now tell me about your RAAM history up till now.
My first year was 2011, rookie year. Learned about it and really thought what a challenge and great opportunity it would be. Was successful in crossing. Learned a lot. It's just not about you on a bike. It takes a team effort to be successful in that race. And then I made another attempt 2013, made it about halfway, and really had some respiratory issues coming through the mountains from the forest fires, and then the demoralizing headwinds in Kansas. Just ran out of time on that one in 2013, and then decided to come back this year and go again, give it another shot.
And you will be riding in the 50-59 category, I believe.
Yes, I am in the older age group.
Now, until recently, you were the only person in that category, but another name cropped up.
Yes.
I don't. Do you recognize that other name?
Oh yeah, yes, I very much Shauna Hogan. Yes.
Well, I've heard of
She's
her.
awesome.
I think.
Yes.
I think I've heard of her
Have
sometime.
you?
Yeah, I believe she's done this before, hasn't she?
Yes, I do believe actually it's Shauna Hogan, the legend. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've had Shauna on the show,
Uh-huh.
and she was at Blanchester Time Station last year, and I got a chance to talk with her a little bit face to face there, and have her on show. If you look at Blanchester show number 53, you'll see Shauna Hogan, Danny Chu, Cassie Schumacher,
Oh, Cassie, yeah.
and let's see who else. Well, a couple of people racing: Janice Schufelt,
Uh-huh.
uh, and others. I won't try to name them all. I said, you talk about a coup of getting a
Yes.
group of people on one show. That was certainly it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure most everybody watching this show knows that you are up against some stiff competition when we're talking about Kathy Hogan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the thing about this race, though, it's you're really racing in yourself. You're the one out there, and you can't get into that kind of mode of racing against another person, or I don't think you're going to be as successful as if you are staying within yourself and doing the best that you can. So I
Right.
very much respect her, though.
Well, and I've heard her say, ride your own race.
Yes, exactly. So that's why she's so successful. So I'm going to try to follow her words of wisdom, actually.
The problem with being in a position like I'm in, I want everybody to win.
Yes.
But you know what? I take the position, if you can wind up at the start line, you're already a winner.
It's unbelievably hard to get on that start line. Yes, that's for sure. It's so hard to get on that start line.
Not only training and crews, but the money involved
The
and
money.
everything else.
Oh my God, yeah. It's such a huge undertaking, and it takes a village to get a rider on that start line. It really does. I have so much support. I couldn't do it without that support. So, yeah.
Well, Kathy, since you bring that up, let's talk a little bit about your crew. What kind of crew do you have? Is it fleshed out for you yet?
Yeah. Yes, I'm very excited about my crew. I have my sister and my brother-in-law. A crew member from 2011 that helped cook. I have another friend that crewed at a adventure race that I was in, and another friend that's new to crewing in RAM, but she has the experience with working with other racers, with other races like this. I guess not like this, but with long distance struggles. My dog just fell off the bed. Sorry.
Oh well, I tell you what, I got the door closed here, and my dog might.
Yeah.
He doesn't take kindly to closed doors when me or my wife are behind them. So we've been interrupted by dogs, cats, snakes. It just don't worry about it.
Back to the crew part, I'm really excited. I do feel it's so important to have a connection with the people that are helping you. When you're out there, you become very vulnerable, and to really have the trust in those individuals that are supporting you is I feel pretty important. So I'm super excited, and have been with my other two trials, and making it. I realize how important it is to have that crew that you can trust, that are there for you no matter what. So.
Well, and someone said here, a crew chief, I believe last year, and I don't remember who it was. They said, a crew can't win it for you, but they can lose it for you.
Yes, that's so true. And I forgot my husband Eric. He's like my main person. I wouldn't even think of doing this without him being there. We've raced enough together. When I'm doing RAM on my bike, he's driving the car in that car so that I feel like he's with me. So when I sleep, he sleeps. When I'm up, he's up. So I actually feel like he's doing the race with me. We're that connected to it. So he's pretty important to me. So.
What kind of sleep pattern do you anticipate?
What has worked, I guess, for me is I try to get to like a 3 a.m. mark is where from 3 a.m. to 6 is usually my bigger chunk of sleep, and this is in the perfect world of RAM, right? And then getting up when the light is just starting, so you're kind of tricking yourself into thinking you got more sleep than what you did, and then writing throughout your day, and then looking how I am and how I'm performing, taking breaks when I need them, and then going to that 3 a.m. mark, and that kind of helps me stay on that bike when I have that 3 a.m. endpoint, I guess. But if it's in the desert and it's nice and cool, I'm gonna push. I'm gonna stay on that bike and go through. But then I'm gonna pay for it later in the day, the next day.
Yeah.
But,
take advantage of what coolness you can get there.
Exactly. Yeah. So you kind of have a plan, and then you just go with what's happening at the moment. You have to be adaptable and be able to adjust to what's going on also. So.
Well, like an old sea captain said once, he said, your plans never work out, but if you don't have a plan, then it's sure to have a disaster. So.
Exactly. Yes. Very true. Yeah.
Well, what about your nutrition, Kathy? What do you find works for you?
Usually, it is a challenge for me nutritionally. It's constantly, I feel like I'm being fed. It's like a constant intake of something, whether it's liquid or food. I try to keep it really basic and easily digestible, but knowing I need all the proteins and carbohydrates and all that. The crew actually does a really good job of that. There's some foods I have to stay away from, high acidic foods. That gets to be a problem. I'm pretty basic, a basic eater. I'm not real fancy with the liquid stuff. I know some racers can do all liquid. I like food. I like to taste the food. It's comfort for me on some level, but I also know that I can't eat a lot all at once, so I have to. It's always, kind of constantly throughout the race. Vegetables, some fruit, soups are good. Potatoes.
Well, then there's always the Lon Haldeman approach, which I think maybe Janice Schufelt, who won the women's division last year, may have done, because when she stopped there at Blanchester, she downed the Big Mac and the French fries.
Oh my God. Krispy Kreme, somebody in 2011 gave me a Krispy Kreme donut on a corner, leaving a parking lot. I was licking my fingers. It was so good. The best Krispy Kreme. I never eat Krispy Kremes, but man, that thing was so good. Yeah, it was so good.
Well,
Eric kept trying to feed me ice cream, whatever. It's a constant, like, trying to get the calories in,
Yeah, I think, and people don't grasp how many calories you have to take in to sustain yourself.
I think it's like 10,000, and so you're in caloric deficit all the time, it feels like, so it really is. That's a huge part of RAM, is keeping that calorie up. And when you're not feeling good, if you're tired, it could be that you're hungry, you just need the calorie, so it is a challenge. So, yeah.
Well, Kathy, you do have a web page, and I am showing that now. I didn't tell you before we went on the air that I have a little bit of control over here as to what goes out over the air, so what you see isn't necessarily what everybody else will see. So the web page is up now. It's Go Kathy Go. What a clever URL. GoKathyGo.com. I love it.
I can't take credit for it, though. So.
Oh, I love it.
Even though it is my name, but I didn't come up with it. So.
Yeah, it reminds me of my first grade reader,
Exactly.
Dick, run, Dick, run.
No, it's Go Dog Go. Go Dog Go.
Anyhow.
Do you like my party hat?
And it says here, cycling for neuroblastoma. Tell me a little bit about that and what your fundraising ambitions are. That's your charity, as I take it.
Yes, so little history on this. Cancer in itself is just a terrible disease, and I've been touched. My mom and my dad have both passed from cancer. This particular cancer is children affected, so it attacks young children, and it has a really high mortality rate. The reason that I've been touched by this is, one, being a mom and having children and grandchildren, and two is having a friend that had a friend that their daughter actually passed from it, Christy, from the cancer, and then also Mark, who has been a crew of mine for the last 2 passings, coming across, is actually a survivor from neuroblastoma. So I know him, I love him, he's like a son to me, and I know what he's been through, what his family's been through, fighting this, and a survivor of this cancer, and I just know how devastating it can be. This particular location all the monies go directly to this foundation. So a lot of times when you do the American Cancer Society, you're not really sure where it goes. You know it's going out there, right? But these guys, because it's such a smaller cancer, it's not, how do I want to say this? It's not very many children get it, but it's really devastating. So we know that this money goes right to helping the families. So I just feel very fortunate and blessed, and my way of, I don't know, hopefully making people aware and giving back a little bit, and I don't know, it just means a lot to me that I can ride for this organization and for this foundation. So.
Well, as I've said, this wasn't the original plan of starting out this show. By the way, I had a little chat email exchange with Martin Dressman, and Martin, I know he listens to the show some. This was his idea. It wasn't mine. He was one of these guys that had the idea of, and he would talk other people into doing it. But thank you, Martin. This is all your fault. I am showing your web page now, and of course I love this thing. It says, "I am a 53-year-old mother of 6, grandmother of 5, but don't let that fool you." I think that is so clever. But on the website,
yeah.
there is a place where you can donate to, what is it,
CNCF.
CNCF. And let me see if I can show that to you. Under the tabs, you see where it says About Me. Now, wait a minute. I can't show it on the picture here. I got to get the tab up.
I have to put my glasses on.
Yeah, okay. If you click on About Me, like you see pop up there,
yeah.
And down there it says Charitable Efforts.
Yes.
Click on that. It's a little hard to see, but the place to donate is down there where it says CNCF.
CF, yeah.
And that goes directly to that foundation, does it not?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes, correct.
So that's for the foundation and not necessarily for your.
Yeah, no, not for me.
You're right. Yeah, that's. I always like to make that clear because so
clear.
People understand, and I think that's true of almost everybody anymore. And that's a really good thing. Now, Kathy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to on the show notes put a link to your website, the GoKathyGo.com, and I'm going to pull up that donation page on the CNCF and put that link there too. So if you'd like to donate, you can go directly there, and that'll be credited to you. I'll make sure that gets done, and so forth. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching it on some other website where the show appears, and there's several places where it does, GoFarther.com, John Foot's UltraRace News, you see the playlist there. You will have to go to the show website, which is OhioRAAM.com. I'll put that up so we get that. And when you look up this show, you'll see below the video the links where you can go and see Kathy's website, or you can donate to this cause. It makes it quite easy. And so while we're there, just let me interrupt and say that you'll find some other links there as well that I think are important. You're going to see the OhioRAAM.org link to that, which is the time stations here in Ohio, their website. A link to RaceAcrossAmerica.org, where you're going to find out everything that's going on around the race. And we'll be talking more about that later. One of the most popular shows we had, Kathy, was one right before the race where we explained to people how they could follow the race using the website, which isn't immediately obvious, you know. And, of course, we just mentioned John Foot's great e-magazine, ultraracenews.com. It's wonderful. And we appreciate what John does so much. He's such a great supporter of this whole thing. John's kind of in the same predicament I am. Neither one of us are able to race anymore, so this is our thing, you know. This is our thing, and we do it. Well, Kathy,
much appreciated.
Hopefully we'll get some interest out there for you. Anything that's been on your mind that we haven't asked about or you'd like to share before we call this whole thing to a halt?
What would you like to share? I really love this race. I just think it's a great race. It's such a pure event. The only reason people are out there racing is just for the experience. There's no reason to do it. There's no money to it. There's no reason other than to experience the race and to support whatever charity you're trying to promote, you know, and get out there and let people be aware. And it involves a lot of people. To get on the start line, you have to have the support. To do the race, you have to have the crew to support. So this race is such a community event, and I really do. I value that so much. I just feel really blessed to once again have the opportunity to get on that start line and be a part of it, and I don't know, share it with everybody. So yeah, thank you. Thanks, Lee. You know, it's nice that you're putting yourself out there and letting us talk and share and
Well, thank you for being here, and you know, I'm not a racer, never have raced. I was a long distance tourer. I love that. I went coast to coast, solo, campaign, that kind of thing. And I developed the image, Kathy. I don't know how well you know the Bible, but there's a scene in there where Jacob is wrestling with this man all night long, and it's kind of indefinite as to who the man is. Is he an angel? Is it God? You don't really know. Yeah. But Jacob gets hold of him, gets a hold on him, and he says, "I'm not going to let you go until you bless me." And I kind of created that image when I was on some long distance ride. I says, you know, when things were tough, I says, "I'm not letting you go until you bless me." And I think that kind of image, I get that spirit from all you people.
That's really cool.
Kathy, thanks again for being with us. We appreciate that. We wish you all the best. We wish everybody out there the best, and your competition there, Shauna, she's had so much trouble with her knee, and it looks like she had some kind of miracle cure of some kind, and we hope that turns out well for her as well.
Yes, yeah. So, I can't wait to see her.
Yeah, a great woman, and such a great competitor. And so I do want to take this time to thank everybody for being here with us tonight, taking time to enjoy the show. We do appreciate it when you help get the word out about the show. It's not so much important for me or for the show for that matter, but there's a great story out here, the story of ultra cycling, the story of the race across America. And people are always telling me when I tell them about it, says, well, why haven't I ever heard about that? Well, you, the audience, your job is to do something about that. And you can help do something about that if you're on Facebook. You can give it a like, or you can make a comment, or the best of all is to make a share so that your friends see it, not for the show's sake, but for this wonderful sport we're all involved in. So, and if you're on Google+, you can share or plus there, or the show is often, always appears on Twitter. And if you share there on Twitter, that'll be a help as well. All these things help. On the website, OhioRAAMShow.com, there is a place where you can leave your comments. We appreciate all those. If you would like to have notifications of when shows are airing, you can leave us your email there. You'll see a place for that as well. There's a tab up there that tells you what shows are coming up in the future. I'll have this show up there shortly, and so there's a lot of information there for you. We have a mission statement to have a little bit of history of how this all came about. We hope that you'll take advantage to do those things. Again, we thank you, Kathy, for being with us, and we thank all of you for being out there. And with that, we're going to say good night to people here in the eastern United States, good morning to people in Australia, and good night to you in Europe or wherever you're at, whatever time of day. We're just glad to have you with us, and have a great day.